What do you think about their IPO? Is it happening this year? Would you buy into it? What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, I mean, the first question, if it's happening this year, I don't think that they need the money, right? Like they're profitable, they're doing well. They didn't need the 400 million. I would imagine that this would be something where their investors are looking for liquidity. And so, you know, Norwest invested in, was it 2019? They're probably getting close with their fund to need to have some sort of return, and it's going to be a good return. And so I would almost imagine that there's a push for the IPO so that they can get a big win under their belt to go raise the next fund, or when you start to see the market do better for investments. And so I think that they said as early as the middle of 2024. I'd probably say it's like the end of 2024, maybe early 2025. But I think I think it'll do well. It's kind of funny because the number one uh, kind of suggested Google question when you search for stuff is Vuori owned by Lululemon? And so it's highly possible that as a private company they can continue to say no to things, but when they become public, if their stock were to dip a little bit and if Lululemon continues to grow, I could see potentially some sort of unsolicited takeover where a company like a Lululemon decides like, hey, yeah, this is a great brand. We think that we should own this ecosystem. Let's just put these together.
Yeah, yeah, I think it's interesting. I mean, I agree. I don't think they're going to IPO probably till early next year. I don't think the IPO window is really open for apparel brands right now. But who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know if I would buy shares. I mean, even in the private market, if someone came to me and said, "Hey, I've got 100,000 shares of Vuori. I want to sell at a 20% discount to their previous valuation." I don't know. I mean, I think there's still a lot of room to grow. I mean, you look at like Lululemon's market cap. I think it's like 50 or 60 billion. I mean, it's up there. Maybe it's dipped a bit, in this market, but they still have a lot of room to grow. That's for sure. I just, it's relatively a crowded space. I mean, you look at these other brands like Roan or Aloe Yoga. I mean, it's relatively crowded. And I think, you really have to be community driven in today's market to win. So many of these brands are investing in community, and it's hard because there's, probably 1,000 other startup athleisure brands that have started in the past few years, and there's going to be 1,000 more in the next few years, right? So I think it is hard to retain those customers and have, really strong loyalty, and you've got to continue to innovate and continue to make great products for your customers, which is hard to do over a really long period of time.
That's interesting. So do you think like a better exit outcome would be to try to position it for an acquisition?
I mean, I don't know. Is this a fit for like a big conglomerate that owns a few brands? Possibly, right? I mean, like, I don't know necessarily what conglomerate they would fit with. Like, I don't think they fit with like a LVMH type of conglomerate, and I don't think they fit with like a Gap. But there's probably some holding company out there that like a Dick's Sporting Goods or something that could be interesting. There's probably a lot of interesting angles here from a private acquisition standpoint, but it seems like their balance sheet is really strong. It seems like they could be well positioned for an IPO. They definitely have, the track record and history to go public. I just don't know if I personally would be interested. I mean, this is not financial advice by any means, but I don't know if I would be buying shares at their IPO, just given that I think the market, like their staying power, is all about innovating on products and continuing to build a really strong community. Like if someone comes
Mm.
out with a better pair of, pants or new fabric or whatever it may be, and it's way better than Viori's, pants or shorts or whatever it may be, like, I mean, they have to continue to innovate like any company does. But I just think it's like hard to retain customers when it's so much about community and so much about, working with your vendors, especially at this scale.
That's so interesting. I could definitely see Nike potentially looking to acquire. I mean, they they are really competitive with, well, Nike's competitive with everybody, let's be honest. But I could see a Nike or an Adidas being interested in kind of having their toe on this and really trying to compete more directly with Lululemon, especially now that Lululemon has launched footwear, which is their turf. Um, I think that I agree with a lot of the sentiment that you have, where I think that it's a good business. It's certainly a profitable business. I don't know, if the valuation of 4 billion is still accurate, or if it's going to be 10 billion, or it really depends on the price. For me, I think that there's so much potential there for this business to be improved, and I'm really just basing that off of like, the things that they could be doing on the D2C fulfillment side that is kind of near and dear to my heart. And so I think that there's probably a huge amount of engagement that they could drive from their existing customer base by making some concerted efforts over a 6 to 9 month period in order to really tie those people together. And so, there's an opportunity here where if they execute that right, they could actually outflank um, Alo or Lululemon, because those companies, while bigger, have more tech debt and just more inertia with what's already working, where they could tweak this and be a little bit more productive.